Arne Slot's statement in full as Liverpool boss pays emotional tribute to Diogo Jota. His name is Diogo, and he will never walk alone. The roar of the cop, the sea of red, the sacred anthem echoing through the corridors of Anfield. On most days, this is what defines Liverpool Football Club. Passion, power, unity. But today, those echoes are silent. The banners have drooped. Streets around L4 are painted not with hope, but heartbreak. 'Cause today, the club, the city, and the world of football stand still for one of their own. Diogo Jota, a name, now whispered through tears. A face now framed in candles and tributes. A player whose talent made him adored, but whose humility, smile, and soul made him unforgettable. And in this moment of unspeakable grief, it is Liverpool manager Arne Slot, a man just beginning his journey at Anfield, who steps forward to speak for us all. A leader not simply in tactics and vision, but in humanity and compassion. In a statement steeped in sincerity, pain, and love, Slot doesn't just mourn a footballer, he mourns a man. A father, a son, a brother, a teammate, a friend. This is not a press release. This is not football jargon. This is not measured PR. This is raw. This is real. This is a broken-hearted tribute from one man, carrying the weight of a club. And it begins not with formations or statistics, but with silence, with a pause, with a truth so heavy that words almost refuse to come. Slot, who just months ago celebrated his first win with a Jota goal against Ipswich, now finds himself standing at the edge of devastation, speaking to the world about the unthinkable. What to say? What can anyone say at a time like this, when the shock and the pain is so incredibly raw? Slot begins, 8 words into his message, and already the entire world of football feels the lump in its throat. This isn't just a manager talking. This is a man grieving with millions. This is Anfield mourning. This is humanity laid bare, and the heartbreak runs deep. 'Cause Diogo Jota, who was just 28, didn't die alone. He was traveling with his brother, Andre Silva, when tragedy struck. Both lives lost. Both futures extinguished in a moment. 2 families shattered, 1 club reeling. A global football community unified in grief. Slot's voice, through his words, trembles with sorrow, but it also carries something else. Something Liverpool has always stood for. Something etched in the crest. Something that says, "You'll never walk alone." My message to them is very clear. You will never walk alone. Slot declares, his words echoing not only through Merseyside, but through every heart that beats for the beautiful game in the full statement that follows. Slot paints a picture that no stat sheet ever could. He speaks of a player who gave everything on the pitch: effort, grit, precision, goals, but even more so off it: friendship, kindness, joy, selflessness. He remembers a man who didn't chase fame but earned it through dignity. A man who never needed to shout to be heard. A man who lived for his family and teammates. He recalls how the last conversation they shared was about life, not football. Jota had just won the Nations League. He was planning his wedding. He was happy. He was thriving. And now, he is gone. The words that follow, all 10,000 of them, aren't just Arne Slot's. They are a eulogy from a family of millions. They are the ache of a grieving squad. They are the echo of a silent anthem. And they are a reminder that greatness is not just in goals scored or trophies won, but in the legacy we leave in the hearts of others. Because Diogo Jota, a boy from Macerellos who made it to the top, will never be remembered for how he died. He will be remembered for how he lived, for how he played, for how he loved, and for how he made us all believe in something more. His name is Diogo, and he will never walk alone. Slot's private memories behind the dugout. The first time Arne Slot met Diogo Jota in person. It was a warm July day at the LFCTraining center. Slot, only weeks into his tenure as Liverpool's new manager, was still learning names, faces, accents, and nuances of the squad he had inherited. But Jota made it easy. He didn't introduce himself like a star. He didn't stride in with ego. He shook Slot's hand, smiled warmly, and said, "Anything you need from me, boss, I'm here." Slot never forgot that dot. In fact, as Slot would later recount to the club's media team, that moment shaped his earliest impressions of the dressing room. He wasn't the loudest, Slot remembered, but he made everyone feel lighter. Like you were around someone who understood what it meant to work for something bigger than yourself. Those early weeks were intense. Preseason friendlies in Austria, grueling double training sessions, tactical meetings, new systems, a fresh voice. Change can be unsettling, especially after the era of Jurgen Klopp. But in that transition, Slot saw Jota become a pillar, someone the younger players looked up to and the senior players relied on. He was the glue, Slot said. There's always one or two who can bridge every corner of the dressing room, from the youngest academy boy to the oldest veteran. That was Diogo. Slot would often sit in his office reviewing match clips, but one clip stood out more than any other. It wasn't even from a game. It was from training. The ball had gone out of play, and one of the under-21s looked deflated after misplacing a pass. Jota jogged over, tapped him on the shoulder, and offered a quiet word of encouragement. That youngster was later promoted to the matchday squad. I remember thinking, this guy gets it. He understands Liverpool. He understands people. Slot said dot. When Slot's Premier League debut finally arrived, a nervy away trip to Ipswich, it was Jota who stepped up. Cool, clinical, ruthless. Goal 1-0, Arne Slot's Liverpool era had begun. And it began with Diogo Jota finding the net, running to the away end, kissing the badge. But that goal meant more than 3 points. It was symbolic, a gesture of belief, as if Jota was saying to his new manager, "We're with you." People say leaders always shout, Slot once told his backroom staff. But Diogo led by giving others confidence. You knew he had your back. In quieter moments, the bus rides, the lunch tables, the warm-down jogs, Slot noticed something else. Jota wasn't just a teammate. He was a storyteller. He spoke lovingly of Portugal, of his wife Ruth and their children, of his brother Andre, who shared his love for football and family, of his dreams beyond football, coaching, helping children, even investing in grassroots academies back home. He was planning something beautiful, Slot said, and that's what makes this so hard. He wasn't just happy, he was building a future. The day before the tragedy, Slot and Jota shared a brief moment at the training ground. Jota was radiant. "Boss," he said, "I just got off the phone with my mom. She says I'm still not better than my brother." They both laughed. That was the last time they spoke. In the chapters to come, we'll hear more from Slot, from those who shared the pitch and the locker room with Diogo, from rivals who respected him, from legends who mourn him, and from fans whose hearts now carry the weight of his memory. But this chapter, the private one, belongs to Slot alone. A manager grieving, a man who gave everything, a man who never needed to be asked to lead. As Slot said, he wasn't just our number 20. He was a light in the room. And today, though that light may be gone, its warmth lingers in every corner of Melwood, every seat at Anfield, and every heart that ever sang, "Oh, Diogo Jota. Oh, oh, oh." Welcome and hook line Arne Slot's statement in full as Liverpool boss pays emotional tribute to Diogo Jota. His name is Diogo, and he will never walk alone. Existing content remains unchanged. Oh, Diogo Jota. Oh. Teammates speak, voices from the dressing room in the hours and days that followed the news of Diogo Jota's passing. The halls of the AXA Training Center became more than just a place for tactics and drills. They became sacred ground, a place of mourning, of shared silence, of embraces that didn't need words, of pain that united a squad like never before. Darwin Nunez was among the first to post a single photo, arms wrapped around Jota after a goal. The caption was simple: "Para sempre, Hermano." Forever, Brother Slot described Darwin as visibly shaken. The usually fiery and emotional forward spent training that morning sitting, alone on the bench near pitch 3, staring out across the field. When asked if he wanted time off, Darwin replied, "No, I want to run where Diogo ran." Harvey Elliott, still just 21, took to Instagram Live to speak from the heart. Tears rolling down his cheeks, he recalled the day Jota bought him lunch. After a tough match, he knew when you were down, even if you tried to hide it, Harvey said. Diogo didn't just lift us on the pitch, he lifted us in life. Curtis Jones shared a video few had seen before, Jota singing in the dressing room after a Champions League night. Off-key and laughing so hard he nearly dropped his phone. "He made football fun," Jones said. "He made us better as players and as people." Luis Diaz, grieving in his own quiet way, placed a pair of signed boots beside the flowers that fans had begun placing near the Shankly gates. "Para un hermano, un guerrero, una leyenda," he wrote. "For a brother, a warrior, a legend." Even players who had moved on from the club felt the weight. Roberto Firmino posted a photo from the 2022 FA Cup final. Arms outstretched. "I remember how you celebrated everyone's goals like they were your own," he wrote. "That's the kind of teammate you were." Virgil van Dijk, the team's captain and heartbeat, gathered the squad in the canteen the morning after. Coaching staff? No cameras, just players. "He stood up. He was one of us," Virgil said. "He is one of us. And we carry him with us now in every game, every goal, every step." According to reports from inside the club, many broke down in that moment. Mohamed Salah, never one for public emotion, clutched a scarf with Jota's name on it throughout. The meeting, Alexis McAllister later told LFC TV, "We've lost more than a player. We lost our joy. The guy who smiled when you missed a sitter. The guy who gave you a thumbs up even if the crowd groaned." Players wore black armbands at the next training session. They asked the kitmen to hang Jota's jersey in the dressing room as if he were still lacing up with them. And for the next week, every training drill ended with the team shouting in unison for Diogo. In these walls, among these brothers, Diogo Jota wasn't just another attacker. He was part of their foundation, their family, their heart. This chapter is filled with stories, small, powerful, deeply human, from teammates who laughed, cried, celebrated, and bled alongside him. Their tributes paint the clearest picture of all. Not just a footballer, not just a professional, but a soul that made those around him feel like they mattered. As Harvey Elliott said best, "He passed the ball to us. He passed the spotlight to us. And now we pass the love back to him." In the dressing room, it may never be the same, but in every locker, every boot bag, every team talk, his spirit lingers. Because Diogo Jota was never just present. He was there, and even in his absence, he still is.